Hey guys and girls, in this video we're going to take a look at the best OnePlus phones. I've made my research and this list reflects my personal opinion, and I've listed products based on quality, durability, price, and more. I've included options for every type of consumer, so if you're looking for an entry-level option or the best product money can buy, we may have the product for you in this list. If you want more information and updated pricing on the products mentioned, be sure to check the links in the description down below. The products mentioned are in no exact order, so be sure to stay to the end so you don't miss anything. Also, if you want a chance to win one of the OnePlus phones in this video, just subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell, and leave a comment with the hidden word in the video. We will pick a winner and notify him when we reach 5,000 likes. Okay, so without further ado, this is our pick of the best OnePlus phones on the market right now. Coming at number 10, we've got the OnePlus Nord. When it comes to mobile devices that will stand the test of time, the OnePlus Nord has proven to be a formidable smartphone in the mid-range market. It delivers a high-quality experience, typically found on devices at around twice the price, including great performance, 5G, versatile cameras, fast charging, and an amazing user experience. Sure, other mid-range phones offer even more for less, but few can match Nord's sense of style and OnePlus's superb Oxygen OS user experience. Number 9. OnePlus 8 Pro. Before the OnePlus 9 Pro was launched, the OnePlus 8 Pro was the company's best handset, and it's still great now. It stands out both from previous OnePlus phones by having a 120Hz refresh rate, and that refresh rate is attached to an all-around superb screen. The OnePlus 8 Pro also packs high-end power, 5G, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, water resistance, an in-screen fingerprint scanner, a quad lens camera, and just about every other high-end feature you'd expect. As a result of all of this, it's also expensive and was almost as pricey as big-name rivals at launch, but there's no denying that you get plenty of value for your money. Coming at number 8, OnePlus 9. The OnePlus 9 has many of the best features of the OnePlus 9 Pro, including its Hasselblad camera partnership and freeform ultra-wide lens. While it lacks the Pro's telephoto camera, but otherwise the photography performance is similar and a lot better than previous OnePlus phones. You also get just as much power here as on the Pro, thanks to a Snapdragon 888 chipset and up to 12GB of RAM. Plus the same size, 4,500 mAh battery, with just as fast 65-watt charging. The 6.55-inch AMOLED screen isn't quite as sharp at 1080 by 2400, but it still has a 120Hz refresh rate, and costs have been cut on the design of the phone, as it has a plastic rather than a metal frame. But these savings are passed on to the buyer, as the OnePlus 9, while not cheap, is great value for what you get, and should be the perfect fit for anyone who doesn't need the extra bells and whistles of the OnePlus 9 Pro. Coming at number 7, OnePlus 8T. OnePlus is breaking all its rules this year. First came the Nord, a step away from its numbered line, and a return to the company's mid-range roots. And now, here comes the OnePlus 8T, but on its own, with no 8T Pro in sight. That leaves the brand in an odd position where its biggest new feature, 65-watt charging, isn't available in its most expensive phone. Beyond that fast charging, and it is fast, there's little new in the 8T. It has the same processor as the 8, and basically the same cameras. Even if they have moved to the side now, it bumps the display refresh rate to 120Hz to match the 8 Pro, but switches to a flat panel. A win to most likely win over as many people as it puts off. With a 6.55-inch display, the OnePlus 8T is inevitably a fairly big phone, but slim bezels and some software tweaks mean it's still mostly easy to use with one hand. At 8.4mm, it's fairly thin too, and a weight of 188 grams isn't bad either. I wouldn't say the 8T feels petite or compact, but it certainly doesn't feel gigantic either. Number 6. OnePlus Nord 2. With a 6.43-inch 1080 by 2400 resolution AMOLED display with a 90Hz refresh rate, the OnePlus Nord 2 is smoother than some phones in its price point while also feeling just the right size to fit in your hand. Alongside that is a dependable 50-megapixel wide camera that's capable of some strong results, and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera too. There's suitably strong performance as well from the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 AI chipset. That should put you in good stead for a while to come. Best of all is its 5G support and 65-watt fast charging that works fantastically. What's more, it's all suitably reassuring at this price. Coming in number 5, OnePlus Nord CE 5G. At a glance, the Nord CE looks very much like its predecessor. It's about the same size, a millimeter taller and fractionally wider, but also a touch slimmer, and adopts the same rounded vertical camera module on the back. The Nord CE 5G is really a stripped-back version of the Nord. The CE, which stands for Core Edition, has the same display and a similar design as the Nord. While the Snapdragon 750G chipset is different, performance is also very close, and there's 5G support too. The camera isn't as good as the Nord's, and the back of the phone is now plastic, but the trade-off is that it's now both thinner and lighter. Most importantly, it's cheaper, and it really is great value. But if you can't afford it, we'd still recommend most people stretch their budget a little further and stick to the original. Coming at number 4, OnePlus 9R. OnePlus is huge in India. However, India is a very different market from the rest of the world. What works in the United States, for example, might fail spectacularly in India. The OnePlus 9R is one of the company's attempts to craft a device that keeps the Indian customer in mind. It's definitely one of the best OnePlus phones out there, but its limited availability might make it difficult for you to get one if you don't live in India. Coming out of its geolocation, the 9R takes a lot of design cues from its more expensive siblings on the outside. The camera module is pretty much directly lifted from the OnePlus 9 Pro, and the overall build is similar to that of the One 9 Plus. Inside, however, the phone is much more powerful. It has a Snapdragon 870 chipset. That's a powerful chip, no doubt. OnePlus also axes the Hasselblad software tweaks present on the other two models with an extra lens when compared to the OnePlus 9. Still, Indian fans will be pretty happy with the price. The OnePlus 9R starts at $540, 39,999 INR, making it by far the cheapest entry in the OnePlus 9 series. Number 3. OnePlus Nord N200. The OnePlus Nord N200 is actually the most recent phone from the brand on this list. It's also one of the cheapest the company has ever produced, with a starting retail price of $240. That wallet-friendly aspect makes it one of the best OnePlus phones out there. Obviously, with such a low cost, this phone is not going to be a powerhouse. It has a pretty weak chipset, a rear camera that leaves a lot to be desired, and low-end build materials. It also doesn't have the famous OnePlus hardware alert slider, which every other phone on this list does have. However, it does have a pretty good display for its price bracket, great battery life, and 5G support. Despite its low-cost nature, the Nord N200 comes with OnePlus's popular Android skin, Oxygen OS, on top of Android 11. Coming at number 2, OnePlus 7T and 7T Pro. The OnePlus 7T and 7T Pro launched in late 2019. Yes, they're a bit old. However, OnePlus fans would consider these two devices to be some of the best OnePlus phones ever made. As such, we'd be remiss not to mention them on this list. Since these phones are older though, it's not easy to get them from your OnePlus or your local carrier. Thankfully, there are plenty out there on the used market, which could net you a flagship-level phone at a mid-range price. The OnePlus 7T is probably the best when it comes to what you'll get for what you pay. It also has a decent rear camera setup, including a telephoto lens, a high-end chipset in the Snapdragon 855 Plus, a nice display with 90Hz refresh rate, and 30-watt wired charging. The OnePlus 7T Pro ups the ante. It has many of the same specs but adds in a laser autofocus on the back to really make your photos crisp. Most notably, though, it has an all-screen display with no notch and no cutouts. It achieves this by using a pop-up mechanism for the selfies camera. Number 1. OnePlus 9 Pro. The OnePlus 9 Pro is a top-tier flagship, and one we cannot ignore that improves on the main weakness of previous OnePlus phones, their cameras. The OnePlus 9 Pro is the best OnePlus camera phone, thanks to a new Hasselblad partnership and a freeform ultra-wide lens, designed to reduce the distortion at the edges of images. But a fancy new camera isn't all this has going for it. There's also a top-tier pairing of a Snapdragon 888 chipset and up to 12GB of RAM for enormous amounts of power, and its 6.7-inch 1440 by 3216 AMOLED screen with a 120Hz refresh rate and HDR10+, ensuring visuals are among the best you'll find on a phone. With a typically premium design too, plus water resistance and a respectable 4500 mAh battery with 65 watts fast charging and 50 watts wireless charging. The OnePlus 9 Pro is a phone with no obvious omissions or compromises, yet one that still costs less than the top rivals. That brings us to the end of our review and buyer's guide for the best OnePlus phones. Hope to see you in the next video. Let us know in the comments what is your favorite one. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe and get notified when we launch new videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.